The scariest part of all this isn't what we've heard, it's what we haven't. The stories are multiplying, the courtroom buzz is only getting louder, and the questions, they won't stop until the truth is laid bare. Because when silence protects power, truth becomes the loudest threat. So, who's really behind this wall of silence? And more importantly, who will be next? But to really understand how we got here, how a megastar like Diddy ended up the epicenter of such scandal, we have to go back. Not just to the start of the trial, but to the very roots of his empire. Diddy wasn't just a music mogul, he was a brand, a lifestyle. The man behind Bad Boy Records, responsible for launching acts like the Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, Mace, and countless others. He walked red carpets, ran fashion shows, and danced in million-dollar suits like no one could touch him. And for decades, it seemed no one could. But now, all those tightly controlled PR narratives are unraveling. The whispers were always there, about how artists under his label mysteriously vanished, about strange parties behind closed doors, about people who once called him a mentor, later speaking in hushed tones or not at all. Aubrey O'Day, another ex-Bad Boy artist, has been trying to warn the public for years. In interviews, she hinted at dark energies, manipulative contracts, and a system that chewed artists up and spat them out. She was dismissed, laughed off, accused of chasing clout. But no one's laughing now. Because when Dawn Richard took the stand, she didn't come as a bitter ex. She came as a witness, a participant, someone who once saw Diddy as the gateway to success, and later saw what that success truly cost. And let's be clear, this isn't just about Diddy anymore. The sheer scale of the implications here points to something deeper, more systemic. Why was Will Smith's name mentioned in court? Not as a side anecdote, but as a direct reference to audio evidence. Why was Meek Mill, someone usually associated with street cred and justice reform, reportedly caught up in the same recording? Let's not ignore the timeline here. These aren't recent friendships. Diddy has long moved in elite circles, rubbing shoulders with billionaires, politicians, and Hollywood royalty. He was in every major room, every scene, always a few feet from the most powerful people in America. So now the public's asking, was this just proximity or something more? The psychological impact of these revelations is staggering. For fans who grew up idolizing these men, who saw Will Smith as a model father, Diddy as a hustler turned mogul, Meek as a voice for the voiceless, this isn't just uncomfortable, it's identity shattering. And online? The tone has shifted. At first, it was disbelief, then curiosity. Now, it's outrage. Comment sections are flooded with theories. Long Reddit threads break down every clip from the past decade. Award shows, backstage moments, old YouTube interviews, like crime scene footage. They pause frames, zoom in, compare outfits, analyze facial expressions like forensic experts. But what are they really searching for? A smoking gun? Or are they simply trying to make sense of the fall of their idols? What's even more chilling is the idea that this might just be the tip of the iceberg. Because if people as famous as Will Smith and Meek Mill are involved, and if insiders claim more names haven't even been mentioned yet, then how deep does this rabbit hole go? And let's talk about that courtroom. Multiple insiders have now described the same scene, audio being played that left the entire room silent. Not in disbelief, but in stunned, heavy horror. They say you could hear people stop breathing. What kind of content does that? Allegedly, the recording doesn't just implicate celebrities, it documents acts so graphic, so humiliating, that even seasoned prosecutors reportedly shifted in their seats. And still, the public hasn't heard a single second of it. In an era where everything leaks, text messages, call logs, even security footage, this particular audio has remained sealed tighter than anything in recent memory. And that silence is breeding suspicion. Is the government protecting someone? Are billion-dollar media companies working behind the scenes to suppress coverage? Are high-powered attorneys filing silent injunctions faster than journalists can type? Because here's what we know. Even the biggest networks have barely touched this story. Outside of niche outlets and viral creators, mainstream media seems hesitant, cautious even, to say anything beyond the bare minimum. Why? What are they afraid of? If this was any other case, any other name, the headlines would be nonstop. So what's different here? Some insiders suggest that releasing the audio could trigger a domino effect, unlike anything the entertainment industry has seen before. Lawsuits, exposés, canceled contracts, long-buried NDAs being torn open. And once that starts, there's no turning back. Because at the heart of it, this isn't just about one man's alleged crimes, it's about the culture that enabled him, the culture that protected him, the people who saw the signs and looked away, and the fans are done looking away. Even Diddy's most loyal followers are rethinking their loyalty. Music streams are down, brand deals are drying up, former collaborators are deleting posts. It's like watching a skyscraper collapse in slow motion. But here's the wildest part. Diddy hasn't even had a chance to respond publicly to most of this. He's been mostly silent. And silence, in times like this, isn't neutral. It's dangerous. Every day he doesn't speak, the internet fills in the blanks. And what they're imagining might be even worse than the truth. Now let's revisit Meek Mill's breakdown for a moment. His online rants didn't help his case. They amplified it. Every defensive post became fuel. Every denial, a new headline. And the more he talked, the more the internet dug. Old photos, old tweets, clips that once seemed funny now feel incriminating. And Will's in hiding, metaphorically speaking. After the Oscar slap, the world was watching him closely. But now, people are questioning if that incident was just a glimpse into a much darker storm. A storm that's finally reaching shore. Hollywood has long been a fortress. Behind closed doors, it protected its favorites. But now, the doors are being kicked in. The public's no longer content with curated images and safe sound bites. They want answers. They want accountability. And if this courtroom continues down the path it's on, they might finally get both. So here we are, on the edge of something massive. Something that could rewrite reputations, fracture industries, and expose secrets too big to stay buried. And all because one woman, Cassie, decided to speak. Maybe the real story here isn't just about Diddy, or Will, or Meek. Maybe it's about how long people can be silenced, before one voice changes everything. Because if this is the start of a reckoning, then the question isn't whether more names will come out. It's how many, and when.